Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, it's just another day in the event industry. But you gotta just keep on moving, y'all. Keep on moving. So today we'll be doing this beautiful setup for the hot air balloon. If you not have seen my tutorial on that from my previous setup before in the past, I will link it in the description box. Right now, I'm just putting on my little stickies for the backdrop. These are the two-sided, what is it, two-sided tape for the what are from the command hooks. So I use those to put on the backdrop. And because I was focusing so hard to put this in a nice position, I ended up dropping it right there and it cracked in 3 different places. And honestly, I didn't care. I just kept on moving and I still just stuck it together. You actually couldn't tell because I kind of pushed them together. And yeah, that helped a lot. There were some staples on the back of the backdrop. So I was able to just squeeze my little 260 inside the staple and use that as a rig point. That was a cluster of 6 balloons. And now I'm adding on a quad. Then another quad. As you guys know, I've been using like 2 quads of 2 different colors when going to the next set of colors to help with the blending process in my Garland. So instead of like doing a cluster then another cluster, I would do a cluster, quad, cluster. And I've been playing around with it, but that's what I did today. So after adding that next quad, I added my cluster of 8 balloons. And the colors will be listed in the description box. And if you guys watched my last video, I mentioned the Kalisan balloons that I was using and how they stick together when working outdoors. And for the balloons I pre-inflated at home, like the sage and the burnt orange at the top, once I inflated the cluster, I had some cornstarch near me and I just put some on my hand and I basically put the cornstarch in between where the balloons touch each other. So I just went around all corners. And yes, it was tedious, but it also was worth it for me because having them pop, which you guys will see later on in the video, where some of them just, the sage green was giving me a very, very hard time. The burnt orange, not so much. The sage green, though, it was popping like crazy on me and it was a little irritating. But I got through it, alhamdulillah. So, yeah, I'm just going in, adding in my clusters and my quads. You guys know I tie everything using neck to neck, just like I just did right there. And one thing about outdoor setups that I do love, though, because when I have to do my rate points on the floor, I don't have to use like the H method, because the H method is a little time consuming. And I like to do stuff that's like smarter but fast. I like to work smarter, not harder. Ain't that the phrase? Yeah. So I use the clear adhesive hooks, and I will try to remember as much as I can to put this stuff in the description box, because sometimes I forget. But y'all be writing a comment like, can I get this please? And these backdrops are not mine. Let me say this now. These backdrops are not mine. I don't have a link for it. They were from a local vendor. I don't know where they get their stuff from. Actually, I think this local vendor get theirs custom made from another local vendor. So I don't have no link for these backdrops. For mostly none of my backdrops, unless it's the circle frame, I can give you that. But everything else is from a local vendor. So I have no clue. But after I finished this section, I went ahead and added on my 5-inch balloons. My 5-inch balloons are clusters of 4 balloons. I don't switch it up at all. And you guys asked me for an inflation video. Look, you guys see the sage green? See how it popped? And this time I thought like maybe a leaf. I think it was some kind of branch that popped them. But they was irritating me. But you guys asked for like inflation part, and then I didn't even really get the top part. But you guys see I inflate. I'm not sizing them. I literally just eyeball them, and I release the air, make sure they rounded. And this is me. I was inflating some on site. And I'm making my clusters. And this was, again, this is the hot air balloon. I do have a tutorial on, not this one, but the one I did in a previous setup. So I will link that. For the bottom part, I bought that from Home Depot or Marshall's, one of them. But I'll go there to get the actual basket. And then now I'm just doing the top part. For the back of the backdrop, I use the clear adhesive hooks as well. For this setup, and I wasn't doing a lot at the top. I wanted to be really lightweight up here, and as you see, I switched the colors because the sage green and the burnt orange was pretty much primary colors, and I was treating them as primary colors, like the main colors. So I didn't really want them right next to each other, so I broke it up with the nude color in the middle, because that was the, I guess you can say, the neutral. It was the neutral color. Yes, it was the neutral color. And then the other color you seen was, what was that double stuff with? I forgot. Oh, what was that double stuff with? I think it was double stuff with amber. It's a Kalisan color. I think so. Amber inside white, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was the like accent color. So I didn't use a lot of that color. As you guys will see, you probably see like just two sections of that color, because that was an accent color. And I pretty much organize my colors like that in my head when I'm inflating and setting up. I always, have a main color or several main colors, a secondary color, and then like an accent color in my head sometimes. So I will always try to inflate more of that main color. That way, when I start to design, it would show up more in the design. So far, the only thing that I wasn't really feeling was the garland that's on the left side, that nude section. It was a little light coming in right between the sage and the nude, and that was a little irritating after I finished. I don't know, maybe I could have added some type of quad in the back of it. Yeah, I don't know. So for the right side, I wanted to show you this, you guys. So this is a binder clip, and I think this is a large binder clip. And I'm using a 260 to tie, and then I'm going to make another loop at the top. Ooh, look at my hands, they're so ashy, child. I'm going to make a loop at the top. That way I can attach it to the backdrop, and then I just put a 260 around the balloon. I had no clue what I was going to do on this side. I end up loving how the design came out nonetheless, but going in, I was just adding stuff, child. I had no clue what I was doing. Because at one point I wasn't going to connect the top and the bottom, but then it was just looking, it just wasn't looking right. So I ended up connecting them, and it ended up being like a full garland on the right side. But you guys will see. And right here you see that garland is keep moving to the back, because when you place the I guess the rig points on the side, that's where it's going to go. So here is, I'm doing the H method. You guys asked about this. I hope I have a good angle, but this is made. You see the 260 in the middle with the tape, and I'm just putting tape around that in the H. Or is that H though? It's kind of like a square. I don't know. That's what it's called, but I don't know. It's not always giving H to me, but yeah. So I use that so I can so the garland would stay actually in the front and not fall to the side. So that's why I made the ray point on the front of the backdrop. And this is how everything is looking so far. I wanted to darken the top up a little bit, because a darker color at the top will draw the eye up. So I wanted to add that burnt orange at the top. And again, this was the part I said I started off breaking up the sections, so having a top then a bottom, so them not connecting. But then I wasn't really feeling that look, so yeah, I kind of left it there. I kind of end up attaching them actually. And now I'm just adding, sorry, the camera is in a terrible position. You guys, when I'm outdoors, it's so hot. I can't hardly think. Even though I had a lot of time set up, it still be a lot going on. Especially when it's just me by myself. I can't keep up with everything. I'll be trying my best to give you guys, I'm not even gonna say good content, just content. So I ain't gonna say it's the best, but it's something. I'll be giving you guys something. So I won't say be grateful, but be grateful. Sorry, I'm not telling you how to feel. I'm making another ring point in the front. And that way the garland won't just flop to the side like you see right here. So I just added that right there. And I think one of those ring points ended up coming off. I think it was the bottom one. I had to end up fixing it or something. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember. I think it did. But I ended up fixing it. So I'm basically still adding on my clusters to fill in the bottom part now. And that was a cluster of, I think, 6 balloons. And I'm connecting some of the bottom pieces together. And I think it was like right here. After this, I wasn't really filling the top. So I took that piece out because that was a cluster of 8 balloons. And I wasn't really filling it. It was too thick. So I ended up moving some of that to the back and attaching those. But then you guys know I mentioned that I wasn't really filling the garlands not connected. So I end up connecting them right here. And then figuring out a whole new ball game. I end up restructuring the whole thing, you guys. So I end up connecting that new piece to the second ring point that I end up making on the backdrop. So I end up placing that there. I took a break from that and I started adding in these these were fresh baby breaths that the client picked up. And I just added it in the garland myself. And you guys know I mentioned that hole between the nude and the sage. And I try to put some floral right there so it can kind of cover up some of the lightness. So here I am. About to fight with this sage green again because I had some balloons pop. And I didn't take them out. I tried to push them to the bed, but they just kept popping and popping. I ended up having to like inflate, or if I already had some quads there, some dupes or quads there, I end up going in and just popping those off and replacing them. Because almost the full thing, as you see, I just added in a dupe there, but pretty much the whole cluster ended up popping, everything almost but the sorry, the 18-inch balloon. I feel like I can't talk. So I'm adding in my ray point on the floor so nothing else move. And I still have to add in some more on the bottom right side just to close that up a little bit. So I'm adding in some dupes to replace, and then I'm just going to add in some 5-inch balloons to get those out the way. And I'm not fully done. I believe I stopped to go inflate to finish that bottom part, but this was pretty much the final look of everything. I did add in the baby breasts on the side, but I didn't get to record it. So this was the final look, you guys. This is how everything turned out. I will try to link as much as I can in the description box. If I forget, just comment and let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye.